bring the Monday, August 7th, 2017 Commissioners meeting to order. And I'm gonna ask Commissioner George Gable to say a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you tonight as humble as we know how, Lord. Thank you for all that many blessings. We pray, Heavenly Father, you'd be with us tonight as we meet to discuss the business of Oakland Fork County. We pray that always that you would be in our midst, Lord, and you would lead and guide us and direct us, and we might make the right decision. We love you, we praise you, and forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I do pray. Amen.
Thank you, George. First item on the agenda is the minutes from July 10th, 2017. Got a chance to read the meeting minutes in advance.
Offer motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Being no discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. Second item on the agenda is the monthly financial report. Also had that in advance. If there's any question, we'll certainly entertain one. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion whenever pleasure of the board.
I'll offer a motion for financial report to be accepted.
Second.
Got a motion in favor and second of accepting the financial report as presented. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, we got two public hearings tonight. One can have a decision, the other one cannot. Item number 3 is the one that can have a decision. You have a sign for this? Is there anyone that'd like to sign up to speak on behalf of either one of these public hearings that has not signed up already? If not, now's the time to do so. There's one on Kibble Farm Road and there's one on Smithonia Road. The one on Smithonia Road basically starts, the public hearing is required before a 6-month period can start because it's because of the nature of the application of what they're trying to do there in a rehab facility required by the state of Georgia. And it does not require a decision. Looks like most of those who signed up are going to be on that one. So what I'd like to do is, if no one has any problems with it on the board, is to go to number 4 first and give some other folks an opportunity to sit if those people choose to leave when it's all said and done. And then we can move on to number 3, which will require a decision or a postponement of the decision for this evening. Before I get started with that, there's some guidelines that I'd like to share with you before we get started with the hearings. These hearings are being recorded. Those wishing to speak shall sign up prior to the hearing. Again, is there anyone who'd like to sign up before we get started? Which one?
I just heard it for the academy.
Pardon?
For the variance for the academy. The academy.
Academy.
It's probably the, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Now I'll continue with the guidelines. We'll read the zoning request under consideration and the zoning board's recommendation. And those signed up to speak will be allowed to speak, always beginning with the applicant first if they so choose. Speakers must state their name and address before speaking. Each speaker will be allotted 5 minutes in their initial statement, 5 minutes if necessary for rebuttal. All speakers will speak only on the merits of the hearing or refrain from speaking on other zoning issues or attacking other speakers. Violators will be ruled out of order, and repeat violations will be disqualified from speaking. And I'll remind you again to address the board. Prior to close of the hearing, well, in one case, we may choose to make a decision or it can be postponed to a later date. In the other case, again, this is just starting a 6-month clock, at which point the board will re-entertain that particular request and take action at that time. So again, we're going to go from to item number 4, which is rezone. It was submitted by Williams and Associates in care of Scott Haynes, and he submitted an application to rezone 3 contiguous parcels as follows. A is tax map 042 parcel 003 located at 3085 Smithonia Road from general agricultural A2 to office institutional professional OIP. B is tax map 043 parcel 006 located near 3085 Smithonia Road from general agricultural scene preservation A2SP to office institutional professional OIP. C is tax map 043 parcel 008 located at 385 Smithonia Road from rural residential AR to office and institutional professional OIP. And D is a conditional use. It has also been requested, which would permit the location of a drug rehabilitation center and other facility for treatment of drug dependence. And again, no action will be taken by the board tonight, just basically start the 6-month clock as required by the state of Georgia. So the applicant, is there someone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Scott Haynes. I work for Williams and Associates. I'm a landscape architect. We've got 2081 Clock Belcher Road, Bogart, Georgia. As Mr. Pittard mentioned, this is hopefully this will start the clock tonight on a longer process. We don't have a lot of information at the moment to offer. I know there's a lot of people in the room that would like more information about this particular application. What I can say is that it's a great cause for our community and really for our nation right now. As I think we're suffering a pretty sizable epidemic, particularly with opioids. This particular group specializes in treatment not only of drug addiction but also several other ailments. They deal with eating disorders, anxiety problems, things of that nature. They are very self-contained. They think they have somewhat of a 3-to-1 ratio. I believe it was quoted in the papers last week of counselor staff to patient. It's a very regulated type thing. This is a place where people come for healing, healing in nature, healing with contact to agriculture, things of that nature, trying to get people back to what they call leading to the light. Again, I understand there's a lot of people who want more information, that are very interested in knowing what this is going to be all about, and I promise that those details will be brought forth. We're putting the plan together now to bring before you so you'll have an accurate idea of what's being proposed on the property, how the property is going to be reused and such, with more detail and narrative. We were just really trying to get this application started so we can get this long clock started. But I do promise you more details to come, and look forward to coming back and being before you, and also hearing folks in the room's comment this evening on the matter. Thank you.
Okay, the first person signed up to speak is John Robertson, 2288 Crawford Smith on the road.
Thank you. I'm John Robertson, and I live at 2288 Crawford Smith Road. For those that know the area, the Smith House is, I'm next door neighbors to the Smith House, right across the street from the last big barn. And the old commissary building that was falling in right on the road is on my property. I restored that 15 or 20 years ago. And I'm here to talk about my opposition to this from the get-go. I've been working for the past 15 or 20 years to beautify that property, to restore it, to make it look good. And I'm counting on zoning to protect that hard work and investment that I've made there. And that area is beautiful to me. And years is to try to make it even better. And I see any change in the zoning of a neighbor to be an infringement on that would be worrisome to me, so I'm opposed to the zoning change. I don't know much about the facility, but I do know that there are going to be all kind of infrastructure questions. Those roads are dangerous. We have no internet. There's, a lot of stuff to be done on that. And I'm kind of basically opposed to that as well because it just doesn't fit with what we have there. Comprehensive plan of the county calls for that area to be the cornerstone of what the county's all about. Historic agriculture. Well, there it is in Smithsonian. So I'd be counting on the board to think about that and to think about this as a precedent. Making a decision like this to allow someone to come in, buy a piece of property and change that zoning. If you approve that sort of thing and make a practice of it, then, and it keeps happening, you don't have any zoning. I believe they call it spot zoning. I'm not an expert in that. But to get a sale to go through or to enable someone to do what they want to do, to get the zoning changed in the middle of a giant agricultural zoning area is something I don't think we ought to make a precedent of. And if you think long term, it'd be kind of nice to tell people coming into the county, if you want to do this, you can't do it here, but there are plenty of other places that you could. But you can't do it in this historic agricultural area. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And I understand that the principal's coming down to visit us in a couple of weeks, so we may know more about it as well. But I can't support it, either side of it. Like I say, I don't know much about what they're planning. That's all I really had to say, Billy, and I appreciate y'all listening to me. I had one more thing to say. I came to Oglethorpe County to retire, peace and quiet, and I've come to find out it's a wonderful place to live in. It's a well-run county. You guys do a great job. We don't have any debt. We meet our budgets. Property taxes are moderate. When a ditch falls in, instead of paying $500,000 to fix it, Billy goes out and gets it fixed with our people. It saves the county money. I appreciate living in a place like that where commissioners like you and the leadership you have gets things done in a reasonable way. And I'm counting on you to make a decision on this in a similar manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Next person to speak, signed up to speak is Dink D. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm Dink D. Smith. I live at 245 Crawford Smith Only Road, 2245 Crawford Smith Only Road. 48 years she's been correcting me. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you my quick history. I grew up in Jessup. I came to the University of Georgia in 1966. The Lord blessed me with a wonderful roommate, Bill Caddis from Maxie, Georgia. And when our company grew and we needed to move out of my hometown, I called Bill and said, Bill, I want my children, our 3 children, to live on a farm in Oglethorpe County. Find us some acreage with some pecan trees and a fish pond and an old house, and that's where we want to do it. I thought, well, surely the president of the bank can find me something, but he called back and said, I've looked and looked. Well, we couldn't find anything, so we had to move to Athens. Well, we were patient for 23 years, and something came available. Fit us perfectly. We are historical preservationist type people. Both of our families are rooted in agriculture, and that's what drew us to Oglethorpe County. We live there. The 3 big brick barns are on our place. We have 8 grandchildren. It's a magnet. They come to the grandparents' house, and we feel it's a safe haven for them. However, we're very concerned about the idea of spot zoning and precedent. I read in the Oglethorpe Echo that as many as 250 jobs may be created. I don't believe a lot of those jobs will be from residents of Oglethorpe County. Many of them will be commuting in. If you travel the Smith Only Road much in the big peak hours of the day, it's kind of Russian roulette on a narrow curving road. In fact, within the last 2 years, I was coming home on a dark night from the office about 8 o'clock, and a young man, unfortunately at a high rate of speed on a motorcycle, came around the curve on my side of the road and he was killed. If he had been this much further over, I wouldn't be standing here. He would have come, I'm sure, through my windshield. It's a dangerous road as it is now. You have 250 more cars a day at all times of the day and night. I travel Highway 72 to work every morning, and it's 4-lane, but it's Russian roulette. You get out there at 7:30 in the morning and see if you don't have to stay on your P's and Q's to be safely to the office. So I'm concerned about the safety on our narrow country roads, and that's where we want to be. I'm concerned about spot zoning, just as my neighbor John said. Once we start that avalanche, it will keep tumbling. We came to Oglethorpe County because of its embracement of history and agriculture. We chose it. This is where we want to live, and we would hope our commissioners wouldn't turn their backs on the people who are here already in favor of somebody that we don't even know. I thank you for listening. Again, I'm not from around here, but I promise you, we got here as fast as we could. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Next person signed to speak is Pam Lee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do live at 2245 Crawford Smithonia Road, but our, the business, Historic Smithonia Farm, is 2289 Crawford Smithonia Road, so it gets a little confusing for us sometimes. As I commented to, and it was in the Oglethorpe Echo, I just wanted to share that because I think it sums up exactly how I feel. We love being here. When I walked to see the property for the first time, when I found out that it was for sale, it was exactly, I said, you know, it's a piece. I mean, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where our family's supposed to be. So we love living and working in Oglethorpe County. Besides the people, the two things that we especially love at the county's appreciation of history and agriculture. And being in a historic district and all the history that's there is amazing. That's why I'm just a strong supporter of Oglethorpe zoning plans to protect those assets. Should the Beaver Dam Farms request for spot zoning be approved, I believe that would be a step backwards in the comprehensive plan. Why would you want to create a special purpose island? It's within the sea of agriculture and history. So regardless of the purpose, I do too oppose spot zoning. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Next person is Alan Johnson.
Thank you. 2228 Crawford Smithonia Road. I live, all my neighbors. We've been there 25 years, and the great thing about the Smithonia area, everybody knows it. Everybody knows the bricks. Everybody knows what it's all about. And we have so many people that come by and slow down and take pictures of the old house and look at the area. Now, the spot zone Kenny's property to a mental health facility, if that's what you want to call it, would be pretty traumatic for the area, because right now we have a quiet, only at rush hour it's busy, but we have a pretty quiet area. And overall, for the redevelopment of Kenny's property, I feel that, you know, personally, if the people that own it, I can't understand if they're not gonna, they don't own it, or they bought it to sell it or make money. I don't understand. If they can't, you know, keep it, why did they buy it in the first place? And the big picture is the spot zoning. It's pretty tough in that area. So I'm against it. I'm not too happy about it, and we'll see how it plays. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person I have is Martha Collins. Martin Collins, sorry.
Hand shaped, terrible handwriting. I live at 2218 Crawford Smithonia on the other side of Allen. My wife and I moved out there because for some reason they don't allow horses in Forest Heights in Athens. So I have a different perspective on why I'm against the facility. And if I remember right, at one time, some folks wanted to develop Kenny Rogers' land, and they were going to put in large, they were going to subdivide into large tracts of land and put in large houses. And they were going to put in their own sewer system, or their own processing plant, if I remember right, which isn't necessarily true. But anyway, so what I'm thinking is that I'm opposed because, you know, that was just a few extra folks, and this is possibly 250 people. So I want to know what kind of facility they're going to build to support those folks, utilities, water, sewage, where the water's going to come from. Also, all the ponds that are on the property, or small lakes, they all drain into Beaver Creek, Beaver Dam Creek. And that eventually runs into one of the forks of, South Fork. And so I'm very concerned about the water runoff, quality of water, and also, like I said, about the traffic, and that it's just two-lane road. And also you have to include possible light and noise and the impact on the animals. I mean, every day I go out and go to work, and it's either skunk, squirrel, armadillo, or deer out there, and I don't even go in that direction. So I would imagine how bad it would be going down Smithsonian Road. So that's my take on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next person I have is Gary Whitworth.
I'm Gary Whitworth. I live at 398 Deering Street in Athens. I have a farm, one tract removed from this property for over 35 years. And I have two hats. One is a neighbor. The other one is I'm a broker involved in the sale of this property. So I've got, yes, I have a special interest. But I've got a special interest from the standpoint that we have shown that property, and there have been a lot of different uses out there that one of the developers looking at it, as the gentleman mentioned earlier, which would break it up. The other one is, you know, there are some people out there that are looking for a single house compound for the property, which would probably keep it as it is with its value as it is right now. But this company is an established company that's looking at buying it. They have 3 other locations that I know about. And I think you need to give the gentleman a chance to talk to you and tell you what his plans are. To my knowledge and what I've been told, you will not see anything from the road. It will look just like it's going to look. All the infrastructure, and that's the way Kenny developed it. He put the infrastructure in the back, in the rear of the property, and that's going to remain that way. But if you look at 612 acres in Oglethorpe County, that's an awful lot of land. You're not going to see a massive development in there. You're going to see job creation. You're going to see an expanded tax base. And you're going to see something that's pretty good for the county. You're going to see people that are going to come here, and some of these people are highly paid doctors, and they're going to live in the county. Not all of them, but you're going to see something that you really need to get more information, and hopefully the neighbors and everyone else will see that this is something that can be good for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person I have is Evelyn Reese.
Good evening, everybody. And like many of us here, we didn't start in Oglethorpe County. I'm actually from New Orleans.
Would you be so kind to give your name and
Evelyn Reese, and I live at 118 East Church Street in Lexington, so just in this neighborhood here. I actually moved to Georgia to study historic preservation. So anytime there is a project near, around, or in the vicinity of any historic site, it is of concern. I first came to know the Neesmiths, Pam especially, in the year 2000. I was a city planner in Athens, and she had taken on something that no one else would want to take on. And that was the redevelopment and adaptive reuse of an industrial site. It was actually the bottle works in Athens, or the old Coca-Cola plant. So I do know the Neesmiths as strong historic preservationists who put their money where their mouth is, who have vision for sites that no one else had. And I will say, when I was in graduate school, we were all scratching our heads and trying to figure out what to do with the bottle works. Thrilled that they owned Smithsonian Farms. Thrilled. I mean, it really couldn't be in better hands. But I also remember being a neighborhood president in Athens. And I also remember first going to their planning department opposed to rezoning issues. Rezones that were very close to one of the oldest established neighborhoods in Athens as a neighborhood association. And we came to Oglethorpe County. For that reason, I was tired of it. I chose a neighborhood that was protected. And there are certain people who do choose historic properties for all the right reasons. I know that the Neesmiths are those people. I think we are those people. I think many of our neighbors in Lexington, which is protected. I do understand that much of Smithsonian is in the National Register Historic District. What I don't understand is the Kenny Rogers property. I haven't seen it in person. I've seen it online. However, when I know there are these properties and nobody knows what to do with them, sometimes it takes years of thinking and years of talking to the right people to bring the right people in who will do the thing with that property that everybody is really happy about. So I hope you will consider strongly any sort of decision or consideration to spot zone a pristine agricultural land to what is really an unknown, very much an unknown. And the presentation I hear is going to serve the community, but I suspect that most of the patients are actually going to be from somewhere else. So please think about this very carefully. A lot of people are going to have their eyes on this, near and far. But thank you. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Next person I have is Martha Noble.
Gentlemen, and ladies, my name is Martha Noble, and I live at 309 Skyline Property, Skyline Parkway, but I'm an original native to Oglethorpe County, and my parents have always lived in this area. We were some of the first that were instrumental in getting the area designated as a historic district. Miss Isabel Bridges, and we had talked about it, and she labored and got all of the information, and we got it to the state and worked to get it designated as a historic area. And I still have land that adjoins this property in question. And so my concerns in spot zoning this, changing the whole area is, what's going to happen to the infrastructure of that whole area there. And I know, how things go, and you put fences up and silt fences and things like that. But long term, what's going to happen to the area if this facility does actually come into being? I would like to go on record as saying I am not in favor of the spot zoning to tear up the integrity of the whole historic district, which is what this area is called. I also have another question. I don't know, I've gotten out of historic preservation, and you may can answer this, but there are no historic buildings on the Kenny Rogers property that would be in question that I know of. But would there be federal funds in any of this district, in this rezoning that these people could apply for? I don't know that, but I would like to know if there's gonna be any availability of that to be used, if it were to pass, if it were to